गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स। तो हमारा टॉपिक है इंट्रोडक्शन टू द कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क सेकंड पार्ट। हम फर्स्ट पार्ट में ये कवर कर चुके हैं कि व्हाट इज़ अ नेटवर्क, व्हाट आर इट्स एडवांटेजेस एंड व्हाट आर द वेरियस कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द नेटवर्क। तो आज हमारे टॉपिक्स में होगा सबसे पहले टाइप्स ऑफ नेटवर्क। टाइप्स ऑफ नेटवर्क. Network types can be classified into various types. Network types can be classified into various types. First is PAN, second is LAN, third is MAN, and the last is WAN. Let's understand one by one network. First is PAN. PAN stands for Personal Area Network. Generally, it is a private network that is established within a 10 meters of a distance. It has one other form that is called as a P2P, that is called as a peer-to-peer network. In this type of the network, only two computers exist. Whenever I am talking about a computer, it may be a computer or it may be a computing gadget, anything. Now, peer-to-peer network में basically we can connect two computers end to end with a wire without any devices. We can use various networking command like ping and other command that can help us to share establish the network first, then we can send the data from one computer to another. Basically PAN, whenever I was connecting my mobile phone with other smartphone with the help of infrared radiations, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, hotspot, anything, it is considered as a PAN. Moreover, we can connect our mobile or smartphone with laptop or computer with the help of the data cables. Sometimes we want to use the internet in our computer with the help of the mobile, but the computer system does not included the hotspot feature. Then what we use, we can take the data cable and active the USB property of the smartphone and access the internet. This is can be one of the benefits of the PAN. Now, second part is LAN. It stands for Local Area Network. Basically, we are in a society where we can just experience the LAN. LAN is a network that includes the maximum cable length of 1000 meter, means 1 kilometer of the cable length. The connecting media that we are using, it not more than 1 kilometer, then it is said to be a PAN, the LAN. The LAN is covering a limited geographical area within a home, within an office, within a building, or within a limited geographical area that combining one or two building or apartments also. So where we are seeing that type of the network, we can go to the bank or in a universities. When we to the computer goes to the computer lab in the school or a university, all the computers are basically connected with the help of LAN, Local Area Network. And when we goes to the bank, post office, all these offices included the LAN. Now, the next type of the network is MAN. It stands for Metropolitan Area Network. Metropolitan Area Network. It means it is a network established within a city. It may spanning in few kilometers of the radius, but what is the utilization of the man? Let's understand that we have a bank in a very big city, let it be Calcutta, Delhi or Bangalore. Then we have the offices of a J&K bank, or let it be ICICI bank. When we are talking about ICICI bank, there is a lot of locations where they want to be serve their clients. They cannot fulfill all the requirement of a city in one banking office. Then they will establish number of banks in different locations so that they can serve the maximum number of the clients present in a city. Now, all these offices are basically connected to the internal network that is said to be a MAN, that is said to be a metropolitan area network. This is one example. If we are running a TV cable, when we are talking about a cable, it is a network that is giving us entertainment privileges. Then it is also a type of the MAN. Now, the fourth type is WAN. It stands for Wide Area Network. When we are talking about wide area network, it is not restricted to the limited geographical area. It is spread all over the world. It means all over the globe. If I consider that I am working in a land, there is a limited geographical area in PAN. It's also a limited geographical area. Then MAN, it is a metropolitan area network that is spanning within a city. Then I can consider MAN is equal to PAN plus LAN plus MAN. But there are not only one PAN or LAN or MAN. There are a number of the networks that can constitute itself to form a WAN. It means that it is a network of networks. What will be the best example? If we are considering the WAN as a network, then internet is the best example of the WAN. Whenever we are connecting to the internet, our computer is connected to the whole world. We can extract the information from every part of the world that is providing the internet service. It means it is a type of the network that covers whole. Now, it is the smallest network. When we extend to LAN, the LAN may consist of one or more PAN. When we are talking about MAN, MAN is a combination of various LAN and PAN. And when we considering the WAN, it may consider various LANs, MANs and PANs. Let's understand it with diagrammatically. If I have this network, this is a computer 1, this is a computer 2. Now, when we are connecting it, it forms a PAN. It forms a PAN. But when we have a number of computers, we want to connect that number of computers in a limited geographical area, then it is said to be a LAN. When we are talking about MAN, when we combine these and connect with other network, let it be these are the number of the computers, we connect it, it forms a MAN. And when we are talking about WAN, it is comprises of various MANs. Let it be it's a MAN, it's also a MAN here. When these all are connected, it forms a WAN. If we are talking about WAN, we can make its Again, a real picture of the band. This is my globe, and let it be I am making a network. It somewhat look like a spider web, and every junction displaying a computer. It is not a limited geographical area, but it covers almost whole globe. This type of the network is said to be a WAN. We can consider it as a WAN. Now, network part is covered and its types are also covered. Now, let's move to the next topic that we have to cover, that is a connecting media. Let's see what are the connecting medias. Connecting medias. Connecting medias. Basically, connecting media has a different names. It is sometimes called as a transmission media. Sometimes it is called as a communicating media. Communicating media. Basically, what does the communicating media or communication media is performing? Basically, whenever we want to connect a computer, we need a medium, and that medium is said to be a connecting media. The connecting media is classified into two types. First is guided media. Second is unguided media. Unguided media. Now let's see what is a guided media and unguided media. Let's have a little example of that. I want to drive from one place to another and I have a car. Which path I will use? The road. I will just look for the milestone, that how much my place is, how much far the place is, and I will drive on the road. But when there is a no road, there is a open ground, I will just choose my way, that how I can cross that. It means road is guiding me that where I need to go. But when we are talking about the open ground, we don't have the path. Example, one more. If we are talking about the sea, there are no roads. The ships are just moving on the following the direction of the compass. Simply the aeroplanes, when it flies in the air, there are no roads. Then they are flying just according to the compass. They are just finding the North Pole, or somewhat it may be their technique, how they are following the directions. Now, when we are talking about the road, it is a connecting media. But water, then air, or open ground, it is said to be a unguided media. It means when we are talking about a guided media, it is a physical path. Physical path. And basically these are the wires. These are the wires. It means wires help us to connect two computers or electronic gadgets. Then they are said to be a guided media. But if we don't have the wires, what we use? We can use radiations. The radiations that we use, we cannot touch it, but it follows the packet transmission addressing. It's a term that we will discuss later. There is a stamping of the addresses on one packet that can deliver in any direction. The other packet will just follow the destination because of the stamping of the first packet. Then it is said to be a unguided media. Now, in unguided media, we can use microwave, radio wave, infrared rays, etc. Now let's discuss guided media one by one. Let's see. In guided media, we have number of media that we are using the wires to connecting a computer. But when we have the advancement of the technology, one guided media is replaced by the other. And the commonly used guided medias are twisted pair of cables. Twisted pair of cables. Second, coaxial cables. And third is optical fibers. Optical fibers. Now, twisted pair of cable is the simplest form of the transmission media. Whenever we are talking about twisted pair of the cables, the technology changes and the twisted pair is changed from one form to the another form. Sometimes it look like this form. Sometimes it looks like this form. Sometimes it looks like these forms. But whenever we are studying the twisted pair of cable, there is a one property that remain constant in forms of twisted pair of cable. What was that? The wires comes in a pair. Here there are two wires only. Now they take a plastic insulating cover for the two wires, but still these are in pairs. They take two insulating covers, and when they have two twisted pair of the cables inside it, they comes in a pair. It means one property is they comes in a pair. Second, they forms a double helix structure. This is called as a double helix structure. When sine and cos waves are moving together, they are called as a double helix structure. It forms a double helix structure. Now, if we are talking about the advantages of the twisted pair of the cable, it is very much cost effective. If I am an ordinary person, I will not think for the other type of the cable. Why? Because it is so cheap. We can carry it easily, so efficiently. We can store it very nicely. And whenever I want to install a twisted pair of cable, I just need a cutter. I will take out its insulating cover and install myself. I don't need any technician for the installation. Now, but when we are talking about lot of advantages, do it have a little of the disadvantages? Yeah, it has a disadvantage. What is a disadvantage? It has a disadvantages because the wires comes in a pair. It means there should be a magnetic and electric field of both the wires, and because of the electric and magnetic field of two wires that are intersecting each other, it means they are losing their data. They are losing their data after a regular interval of the time. It means that property is said to be a crosstalk. That property that they are intersecting once another magnetic and electric field, it is called as a crosstalk, and that crosstalk is called as a intuition that cause the bleeding of the signal. That cause bleeding of the signal. It means these wires can be used, but for a shortest distance. It cannot be used for a longer distance and sending the multimedia messages or broadband signal. We cannot use that. Now, if we are talking about these types of the cable, these cables are never used in the broadband internet connection. These are the properties. Now, what is the maximum data transfer speed of this? They can transfer maximum of the 1 GB of the data without conditioning, without any device, but we can extend it up to the 4 GB with conditioning. If we use any other hardware device that can enhance its speed, it can take up to the 4 GB of the data from one place to the another. This is the property of the twisted pair of the cable. Now let's move to the coaxial cable. The coaxial cable basically removes all the disadvantages of the twisted pair of the cable. Coaxial cable. How it look like? Basically, there will be a protective jacket, that is an insulator. Then it runs with another insulator, and there is a core of the wire, metal core. It is a metal core. This is a protective jacket. This is protective jacket. And when we talk about this, there will be a metal mesh. There is a metal mesh. It provides the ground. Metal mesh. Metal mesh. If we are talking about these types of the cables, where we see that in the cable TV, in the dish TV, when we are using the cable, we are using this type of cable. What are its benefits? The core is different from the iron mesh or metal mesh. It means there is a no annotations or bleeding of the signal. If there is a no annotation or bleeding of the signal, it means it can send the data very fast. It can send the data very fast. And it can be used for broadband signals also. For internet we can use it. And one more property, it is a multiplexed media. What is a multiplexed? Basically, whenever there is a number of frequency of the channel, we can combine it as a one frequency. This is called as a multiplexing. This is called as a multiplexing. When we are talking about multiplexing, we can send these multiplex signal over this network, and when it reach to the terminal, all the signals will be take their frequency and we can enjoy that. Let's see that. In dish TV or in the cable, we have Sony TV, then G News, all the news channels. They are coming from one wire. We are not using the different wires for the different channels because they are a multiplexed signal. This is the benefit. But what are its advantages? First, disadvantages, sorry. These all are advantages. Its disadvantages are it's never compatible to the twisted pair of cable. If we are using a twisted pair of cable, we cannot connect it with a twisted pair of cable. Second, it is costly as compared to twisted pair of cable. Now, one more advantage that I skipped, I will tell you. It can send maximum of 10 GB of data without conditioning. Without conditioning or with conditioning. Maximum of 10 GB of the data per second it can send. Now, talking about the last and the most important media, connecting media, that is called as a optical cable or optical fiber. But before writing or discussing these, do you have any idea where we see that type of the media? Optical cables. I will tell you. Number of times we are moving on the road, there are laborers that are digging the roads on the edges, and they have very big bundles of green, blue wires that around this much of the thick, and they are so hard. That type of the wires is called as optical wires. Basically, optical wires are so hard inside, but inside there is a glass or plastic like material that is like a fiber, that is like a fiber. They can transmit the signal with the help of light. They are transmitting the signal with the help of a light that are using a concept of physics, that is a total internal reflection. After total internal reflection, they are transmitting the data. It means they are so fast because light can transmit the data at the rate of 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. It means it is the best. It is the best media that can help us to send the data over the network. It is the fundamental of the broadband. We can get the true broadband speed if we are using the optical cable. Basically, when we are talking about optical cables, it has a lot of advantages. There is a no noise destruction in this type of the media. It is so hard from outside, so it is the best suited for the industrial development. When we have the industrial harsh environment, when there is a lot of load carriers is crossing all over the big industries, we can lie down just the optical cables. It cannot be affected. Now it can provide us maximum of the speed. We can have 100 GB of the transmission data per second using optical cable. If we are talking about its disadvantage, it has a very much disadvantage because it is using the light for transmission. It means practically it is impossible to tap the signals when we have terrorist activities and they are using the network of the optical cable. It's hard for us to trace that. We need to cut the protective shield and put the detectors so that we can find it, and it's a hard. It is never compatible to the optical cable and a twisted pair of the cable. Moreover, it is so